This video is sponsored by Flexispot and the award-winning C7Max office chair. Summer is officially here, and that means a ton of great games, showcases, and in this case, a much-anticipated console release. My name is Kodiak, this is Legacy Gaming, and this is everything we're excited about this June in the world of gaming. Right out of the gate on June 5th is the release of the Switch 2, the long-anticipated successor of the record-breaking hybrid stationary and handheld console. Clocking in at $450, this brings Nintendo in line with the Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5. As expected, there are some exciting hardware improvements, including a larger 7.9-inch 1080p display with 120Hz refresh and HDR compatibility, magnetic Joy-Con 2 controllers with new ergonomics, game chat, a new online feature allowing players to talk and share screens, and backwards compatibility with existing Switch games, with some titles even receiving free upgrades. It's no secret Nintendo is trying to come out of the gate swinging with their launch titles, some of which include Mario Kart World, the first open-world experience set in the iconic Mario universe. And of course, Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, the long-anticipated sequel to the much-beloved Metroid series. There are also a number of games coming out later in the summer, such as Donkey Kong Bonanza, Kirby and the Forgotten Land, and of course the unexpected FromSoft exclusive, The Duskbloods. In one of these stranger releases this summer, Deltarune Chapters 1 through 4 releases on June 5th for every major console, including the Switch 2. Chapters 1 and 2 have been out for years on the Switch, but now players across the board will get to experience the Toby Fox creation that has been enchanting audiences for years. Deltarune, which takes place in a different universe than Undertale, is really about storytelling, and that sometimes bleeds into the game's action, but by no means is it a traditional game, often focused on character and plot development over systems. That being said, Deltarune does feature turn-based combat, with mechanics inspired by classics like Chrono Trigger, as well as narrative choice and hidden secrets. Every year, we're treated to a number of surprises at Jeff Keighley's premier event, Summer Game Fest, and while things have been relatively quiet leading up to this year's event on June 6, you never quite know what's going to make an appearance. Without a doubt, we'll see Hideo Kojima, with Death Stranding 2 releasing just 18 days after the event. But there's a number of rumors that we're pretty interested in as well. There's rumblings that a new entry in the Tomb Raider series could pop up, something I'd personally love to see, given that the modern games have been fantastic. There's rumors that IO Interactive's new 007 game will make an appearance after being announced 4 years ago. There's also some murmurings that The Wolf Among Us 2 could pop up, the sequel to one of the most beloved titles from Telltale Games. You never quite know what you're going to get, so mark your calendars for June 6 and strap in. Shortly after Summer Game Fest on June 8th is the Xbox Game Showcase and Outer Worlds 2 Direct. This is an event split into two halves, with new game reveals happening in the first half and a deep dive into Outer Worlds 2 taking up the back half. There are a ton of games that could pop up during the showcase, and as I was going through the list, I was actually floored at how big this event could be for Xbox overall. Top of my list to make an appearance is Fable, which continues its slow march to release. Perpetually on my watch list, I am hopeful that we'll finally see some long-form gameplay in this anticipated continuation of one of my favorite RPG series ever created. Outside of that, there are a ton of games that we could see, such as Crimson Desert, Jump Ship, Borderlands 4, Light No Fire, and of course, Hollow Knight Silksong. Don't get me started on that last one. At this point, we are all breathing in the hopium, but call me crazy, I think we finally get a release date this time around. On the backside of the event, we're going to deep dive into Outer Worlds 2, which I am genuinely excited about. I loved the first game and didn't think it got enough love overall. We have long said that Obsidian Entertainment is one of our favorite developers, and rarely do they release a bad game, so I have no doubt Outer Worlds 2 will continue their tradition of success. Guys, I sit at my desk every single day for hours on end, sometimes 10 plus hours a day. And if there's one thing that matters the most during those long stretches, it's comfort. Look, I have never been one to fall in love with those cheap, flashy gaming chairs that offer no support, which is why when Flexispot reached out, I was thrilled. Their C7Max chair is legit incredible, especially if you're looking for lower back support. Guys, it is okay to admit your body isn't what it used to be, and at just $450, you're not going to find a better chair with more features at that price point. Lumbar support, a larger seat cushion, breathable material, and armrests that can pivot and adjust to any position depending on how you're sitting. There's even a way to add on a footrest, which is next level. I have learned a lot during my years of being a gamer and a content creator, and if there is one truth, one single thing you need to take to heart, it's investing in a good chair. Flexispot C7Max gets the legacy seal of approval, no doubt, and if you don't believe me, check out the reviews online because these guys know how to make a great chair. And it doesn't stop there. I recently picked up one of their E7 standing desks, which is miles better than anything I've had before. If you're in the market and you want to save a few bucks, you can use the code C750 at checkout to save $50 on your next purchase. After a short delay, we're finally getting Funcom's new massive open-world survival game, Dune Awakening. Livid and I have been lucky enough to play multiple iterations of this game ahead of launch, including early testing that featured far more than the public beta tests, and let me tell you guys, we're excited. Set on Arrakis, a scorching desert planet, you play as a prisoner sent to the surface to try and discover the secrets of the missing Fremen. You start with nothing, scavenging and harvesting the resources of the world, and eventually set down roots, creating a base that will keep you sheltered from the planet's harsh environment. You will have to manage your hydration, as heat can quite literally sap you of all life as you explore points of interest and eventually align yourself with either House Atreides or House Harkonnen. As I said, we are ridiculously excited about this game, and we'll have a clan on the first available US East server, so if you want to join our team, be sure to join us on Discord. The link for that is in the description below. Dropping on June 10th is a game I don't think has a ton of buzz right now, but probably should. I'm talking about MindsEye, an action-adventure thriller being developed by Build a Rocket Boy. Set in a near-future world where AI, robots, and corporate greed run rampant, you play as Jacob Diaz, a former soldier equipped with the MindsEye neural implant. Little is known about this technology, and the side effects are starting to get out of control. Jacob suffers from memory loss and disturbing flashbacks, and this all becomes central to the game's story. MindsEye gameplay can probably be most easily comparable to games like Mafia, which are largely about gunplay, explosions, and high-speed chases. Except this time, we're jumping into the future. The game is even touting the ability for players to create and modify different aspects of the game using tools from everywhere, which I think could be an interesting ripple in an already intriguing game. Launching on PC on June 11th, over a year after its initial release on the PS5, Stellar Blade is a fast-paced action-adventure game developed by the team at Shift Up. You play as Eve, a warrior sent from the colony to reclaim Earth from the monstrous Naytibas, a species of malevolent monsters. Humans have all but abandoned the planet, with the remaining few living in Xeon, the last human city. Stellar Blade features hack-and-slash combat with precise parry and dodge mechanics, as well as 2 different gauges that you can build up to unleash powerful attacks and special moves. The PC version of the game will feature some technological enhancements, including unlocked frame rate, ultra-wide support, a new boss fight, as well as 25 additional costumes for Eve. You guys already know we love 11-bit studios here at Legacy Gaming, and on June 13th, their latest creation, The Altars, arrives. This is one of the most intriguing sci-fi survival games to come out in a long time, and in classic 11-bit fashion, things are incredibly unique. You play as Jan Dulski, a space miner stranded on a hostile planet. Not only that, but the planet's sun is deadly, and you only have 3 in-game days to survive before the sun rises and destroys everything. To survive, Jan is forced to create altars, alternate versions of himself shaped by different life choices. Each altar comes with unique skills, personalities, and baggage, which makes working together more challenging than you might expect. As far as gameplay goes, it's an interesting combination of base building, resource management, and the psychological rollercoaster we're all too familiar with playing an 11-bit game. I have yet to go hands-on with this one, but I truly cannot wait because it looks like one of the more interesting games we've seen this year. Set in the Control universe, FBC Firebreak is a new co-op first-person shooter that arrives on June 17th. In this 3-player co-op game, you'll need to work together to complete missions inside the oldest house, a strange location where anomalies are commonplace. Think of Firebreak like Left 4 Dead or Back 4 Blood, but instead of zombies, you're tasked with containing supernatural outbreaks. Luckily, you and your team have a wide variety of unique guns and paranormal abilities at your disposal, which should help even the odds. But when that fails, the environment will play a big factor in keeping the chaos under control. There's also a streak of pure weirdness with this game, as some missions will have you fight radioactive leeches, sentient sticky notes, and other rogue office supplies. The best news yet, all updates for Firebreak will be free, and the game has already confirmed there won't be any battle passes or seasonal content. If you're into large-scale, real-time strategy games and have a love for all things military, then you'll want to check out Broken Arrow, which releases on June 19th. This is one of the craziest tactical military games I have seen in a hot minute, featuring over 300 units across infantry, tanks, helicopters, aircraft, and naval forces, all of which are customizable. The game features 2 factions, the Americans and the Russians, and you can take control of either across 3 game modes: a single-player campaign, multiplayer battles featuring 5v5 action, or War Goals, which is a new mode focused on long-term strategic objectives. Set within large urban battlefields, this is a game truly inspired by classics like Wargame Red Dragon and Steel Division, and hopes to be one of the most historically accurate military games across unit representation and even tactics. If you played Sifu back in 2022, you might be surprised to learn that the studio is on the cusp of releasing a new game called Rematch. Now, you might expect part 2 of the martial arts themed beat-em-up game, but you couldn't be more wrong. Rematch is a team-based online soccer game, which offers a fast-paced, arcade-style take on the world's most popular sport. Look, it's no secret that FIFA, for better or worse, has dominated this space for far too long, and based on the 1.4 million views the reveal trailer accumulated over the past 5 months, it's safe to say there is an audience hungry for more. Rematch doesn't have fouls, and there's nothing slowing the game down like being offsides. Instead, the action is focused on speedy, third-person gameplay, where the teams with the best skills and tactics will rise to the top. There's certainly a Sifu-esque look to the game with their iconic character models, but this time paired with vibrant arenas. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't intrigued by this game, and while I'm not a big soccer fan, games like Rocket League have convinced many gamers like myself that it really doesn't matter so long as the gameplay is fun. Still strange and still keeping you guessing with every trailer, Death Stranding 2 on the Beach, the sequel to the innovative game by Hideo Kojima, releases on June 24th. Set after the events of the first game, you play as Sam Bridges once again, but this time on a new mission to save humanity from extinction. As you might expect, Death Stranding 2 is going to be entirely narrative-driven, with familiar characters like Fragile returning, but with an entirely new focus. After Sam leaves Bridges, his allies go their separate ways, but the United Cities of America are still in disarray. Under the banner Drawbridge, Sam is asked to help once again and will assume his role as a porter, transporting goods and connecting the isolated cities across the UCA. Expect plenty of traversal both on the ground and in vehicles, stealth, platforming, and even some fighting. But don't forget, this is a Kojima game, and the weirdness factor is going to be dialed up even higher with this sequel. So there you have it, everything to keep on your radar this June. Let us know what games you're most interested in checking out, and if we missed something, of course, drop us a comment down below and let us know. As always, if you appreciate the work that goes into creating these videos, do me a solid, drop us a like, and consider subscribing. It's still the single best way to help out our channel. My name is Kodiak, and from everyone here at Legacy Gaming, thanks for watching, and play on.